The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Quezon City is empowering MSMEs. Innovative marketing strategies for sustainable growth, offers insightful discussions.
People who don't know how to use technology within a few years from now will be replaced. Either people who use technology or by technology itself.
Pinapayagan na namin yung hybrid or basta output-based. Depende kasi sa position yon.
The rule of business is innovate or die.
So we would like to focus on increasing the competency of our members and creating a stronger partnership with the Quezon City government.
We are now open for business.
It is a signal to the world. We are open for business.
It's a day of learning and meeting with some of the best business minds as we gather for the opening salvo of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Quezon City General Meeting. Just what are the latest trends in marketing and advertising that we should pay attention to as business owners, and how can we set ourselves as the early adopters? Let's begin, shall we?
I decided to speak about something that's trending now in the news, which is the oversupply in the real estate industry for 34 months. Saying the reason of the oversupply in the market is because the supply doesn't match with the demand. As business owners, most of the time like to base our decisions on data. The problem with data is that it tells us what happened in the past, but doesn't tell us what will happen in the future. And this is why, when making decision, I rather to base 70% of my decision on data, but 30% on real surveys and real trials. When we started Bebang, we started it with 100,000 pesos only. And a lot of friends of mine in the beginning were, are you really opening a halo-halo business? I told them I'm opening a halo-halo empire. The problem and why I like to start things as small as that is because you never know. You might think that people will want this product, but as soon as you launch it, after investing hundreds of millions, you will discover that nobody really needs it. Microsoft wasted 400 billion on Microsoft phones, and then they got overtaken by Android and by Apple. Google spent billions on their smart glasses. Nobody wanted those. Meta spent billions on VR. There is no proper adaptation until now. So when we launched Bebang, we started from a small store. I really believe that the product is nice. It was a variation of halo-halo, a premium version of it. The feedback was shocking, to be honest. We were the first brand in the Philippines that was delivering frozen product. And it was a tagline on our social media, delivered frozen or your money back. That was crazy because how you will deliver frozen, but we guaranteed that. We made sure that people will basically trust us somehow. This is something I always preach of, that try to offer guarantees whenever possible. We invested heavily in technology. We were maybe one of the few small businesses in the country in food that had our own ordering system and website. And because I'm a big believer that companies should own their data. Until now, we don't sell our product on Grab at Foodpanda, not because I have any problem with those platforms. I actually am a very heavy user of Grab. I always eat outside. But I don't believe that I want to use those for my company. I like to retain my data. I like to know what my customers are experiencing. I like to have their phone number and address. When we learned what we needed to learn in the beginning, then I started investing in the company. And the first thing we invested in was actually marketing. We didn't build a fancy store. We moved to Mandaluyong. We spent a couple of building a very humbling store with a production area. But it barely costed us 2 million. Now our stores cost around 8 million per location. What was important is to have a proof of concept. Spending a lot of money, and this is very popular when you talk about tech, when you talk about apps, when you talk about technology solutions. It's done a lot in the tech world, but most of the time in the brick and mortar businesses, you see people spending hundreds of millions on building a very fancy shop, very fancy restaurant, to discover that nobody wants to eat there. Have a proof of concept, market it, do people like your recipes, do people like your food, do people like your product, and then decide if it's worth growing or not. Obviously, Bebang is very worth growing. Now we're valued around above, like north of 1 billion pesos. Dr. Carl mentioned about becoming your brand. And this is something like I really preach of most of the time. We invested a lot in content in the early days of Bebang. We always wanted to have the social media content that people will really want to consume and watch. A little bit of humor, a little bit of fun, even though 40% of our customers are actually above 40 years old. They're liking it. But what's more important is what I do for the brand as the CEO, putting myself out there, even though it's not really comfortable to stand here and speak. It was traumatizing the first time I did it. I posted a couple of videos on social media. Investing in content and influencers are very important for brands. Abby Marquez changed the game for us from 800 cups a day to selling 3,000 cups a day in our peak season. Putting myself out there made us 200 million pesos in raised money. Because when you put yourself out there, people will trust you more. It will be a lot easier to sign contracts with your company or business because people know you already. And I hear it a lot from B2B businesses when they say, doesn't apply to me. It actually applies to you more than it applies to a retail company because your job is actually to convince more people to make a collaborated decision and choose your product. When we choose a product in our company, it's actually a committee of 6 people deciding if we want to invest in this partnership or not. When we bought our ERP system, because it was advertised, like we spent 2 million pesos on it, I will not allow one person to decide that. So we had a committee, and the committee basically chose that someone we all know, a company that we are all familiar with. They don't know me in person, but they saw me somewhere on social media, they saw me somewhere in an event, they saw me somewhere in a dinner. So it became a lot easier for us to sign. We were having around 90% closing rate. We were able to basically raise 200 plus millions for our 23 future stores within weeks, without any effort advertising it. So this is why I really think companies need to have a face. It's not easy. Doesn't always have to be the CEO. It can be your director of marketing. It can be someone in your company. It can be someone in sales who's posting content on social media, who's posting content on YouTube or attending conferences like this. But someone needs to present the company. A logo is not enough. A name is not enough anymore. Nowadays, it's very important to be represented by someone for people to trust you.
You shared a lot of insights, and it is very relevant because the MSMEs now are really talking about innovation and sustainability. Can you give us the highlights of the things that you have shared in terms of innovation and sustainability?
It's very important for small brands now because the entry point is very accessible for everybody. It's very important for small businesses to start investing more in tech, especially having their own website is now very important. Being on social media on as many platforms as possible is very important, and it doesn't cost anything. The business owner can do it themselves, and when they start growing, they can start hiring a better and bigger team. But there is no excuse anymore for a business not to have their own digital platforms.
A lot of the MSMEs would say, is it expensive? Would it require additional people? Would it require upgrades in infrastructure or technology? What can you say about that?
When we started Bebang, I actually was doing everything myself. Now we have 190 employees, but when we started Bebang, I was alone. So it doesn't take a lot to learn this type of skills anymore. YouTube is there. You can watch YouTube. You can watch tutorials online. There is a lot of courses. It will take maybe 1 week or two to learn anything they need to learn. A website almost doesn't cost anything. There is free platforms. If they want to do things better, which I recommend, they can invest in out-of-the-box solution. In Bebang, we have built our own, so it costed us until now around 20 million. But if they don't want to spend a lot of money, there is Shopify, there is WooCommerce. They can basically get a website for $20 a month, $30 a month. Facebook doesn't cost anything. To create a page, they can learn that within 10-15 minutes by watching YouTube. Creating a TikTok account is easy. Everybody have a smartphone. Also, there's no excuse from posting videos using their smartphone. Posting content online, that doesn't cost a lot. There is free AI now to write captions, so they can use ChatGPT to give it an idea and write a caption for them. So really, there is no excuse anymore for a one-man show business to be putting all of that and doing all of that online.
2025 post-pandemic, what are your insights? What are the key challenges of 2025 that you think may adversely impact on small businesses?
Short-term challenges I see are really AI. So a lot of people's jobs will be replaced with AI, which means a lot of people will be without a job. I think whoever is not using AI should be using already, should learn how to basically, it's a craft that's a must-have. I think it should be taught in schools already. I can see some pushback from schools saying like you shouldn't use an AI in your exam. No, I think the school should insist on students using AI in their exams, because this is a skill that they need to learn. It's not something that's optional anymore. People who don't know how to use technology within few years from now will be replaced by either people who use technology or by technology itself. So mastering it is a must. Some of the challenges that going out of the pandemic is history. I think I don't want to. Pandemic was a blessing for us in Bebang, to be honest, because we took advantage of that by offering something that no one else was offering during the pandemic. Delivering frozen product to their people's houses when nobody was able to order ice cream, halo-halo, and anything similar. They had to basically go out and buy it, and it wasn't possible most of the time. We gained a lot. The brand was built basically on that concept. Other challenges, I think, which is most of it is we need to attract more foreign money to the country. So I don't know how that is relevant to small businesses, but I think we should see more regulations that are flexible to bringing more investments from the outside, so we can basically create more jobs in the economy.
Okay, now with your exposure with the PCCI Quezon City, do you think that small businesses are also ready now? Can you say that we are future-proof? Can you say that we are digital ready? If not, as you mentioned, there are a lot of ways so that they can future-proof their businesses. What's your outlook on the MSME landscape here in the Philippines?
Not by a long shot, to be honest. We're not ready. We're in the beginning, which is the right place to be. It's never too late. The pandemic changed a lot of people, like how we see things and how we think changed during the pandemic. When before the pandemic, nobody used to use digital wallets, nobody used to use the credit cards. Now most of people are using those, but I can see that businesses still didn't adapt properly to where we are at. A lot of businesses, like I mentioned, need to invest more into technology and their digital platforms. I can see that happening enough yet. So I think there is a lot to work on. We need a better infrastructure also to do that. Internet's still not as reliable as countries similar to us. And the good thing is, in the Philippines, we're one of the fastest growing economies worldwide. So 6% growth, I think, was for 2024, which is fascinating. So it's an opportunity. I can see also the middle class growing a lot. Since I came here in 2015, I think it more than doubled. So this is also an opportunity because there is more disposable money in the hands of people, and it's time for people to start charging properly also for their product, because I can see a lot also competing on price and trying to sell cheap just to basically enter the market, and that's not a very good place to be.
Okay. And finally, Sam, that is your camera. What are your tips to small businesses, small entrepreneurs who would also want to be successful in their business, especially in 2025?
Educate yourself. I can see that people spend a lot of time trying to do things the way they know. There's a lot of material now online. I until now I almost weekly I read one book. It's one of the most important things in business is to keep yourself up to date. There is a lot of material online, very accessible and free on YouTube that you can watch. Keep yourself up to date when it comes to technology, when it comes to business, when it comes to regulations, when it comes to a lot of stuff. Invest in your team when you can afford it. So don't start your business and start recruiting people that you cannot afford and then tell them, sorry, I have to, I ran out of money. When you can afford it, invest in the right people, pay enough to attract the right people. This is how we built Bebang, and I think this is what everybody should be doing.
This will not happen without the participation of everyone in engaging and inviting more members to join our organization. And of course, this will not happen kung hindi natin dinideliver yung services para sa ating mga membro. We have a partnership with De Los Santos Medical Center. Tulad ng binanggit ni Chair Alfred Carandang, if you're a member of PCCI-QC, VIP treatment po tayo sa De Los Santos Medical Center. Yeah. Ikaw. sabi ni Dr. Carl, di ba? Dapat, kung meron kong binibigay ang De Los Santos Medical Center na ganun kagandang serbisyo, ikaw, ano naman ang ibibigay mong serbisyo sa PCCI-QC members? So, we identified several sectors, 4 sectors sa ating organization, and we want all sectors ng ating organization na mag-participate po sa mga sectors na ito. So, isang pool, yung services, legal, financial services, professionals, education, IT, events, media, communication, and arts. Then we have another sector for food. Third sector is health, beauty, and wellness, kasama yung environment and agriculture. And we have the real estate, hotel industry, travel, and transportation. So please wait for announcements kasi per sector po, magkakaroon tayo ng activities. Kasi on a monthly basis, every last Wednesdays, we have our GMM. So, through these sectors, kahit wala pa pong GMM, meron na rin po kayong mga magiging activities. Last year, naging effective po siya doon sa ating food sector, doon sa usapang PCCI-QC na nirebrand natin ito Admire, na nagkakandak sila ng learning sessions for their sector. So, ano po ba yung magiging activities sa mga sectors? Ang KPI po, kung makikita nyo, kanina bawat sector may mga pangalan na naka-assign. Yun po yung mga board members natin na naka-assign sa sector. And they will be in charge of ensuring that each sector for this year will have at least 2 learning sessions dedicated for them. Okay? Hindi naman po yun exclusive na kung nasa ibang sector kayo, hindi kayo pwedeng sumali. Kahit nasa ibang sector kayo, kung meron kayong gustong matutunan sa sector nila, you could also join. So, yan yung part of their KPI, to have 2 learning sessions for their sector, to have a mentorship program, to conduct business visit. So, kailangan po kasi ang mga members natin, we see how are you operating and kamusta po kayo sa inyong mga businesses. And of course, yung mga board of directors na naka-assign dyan, they'll ensure na lalaki yung sector na yun. May recruiting, ensuring also the retention of those members, and yung renewal ng mga members. And of course, other activities. Meron tayong upcoming Quezon City International Business Conference. And this conference is chaired by our Chairman Emeritus, Carl Balita, and President Emeritus Sara De Loraya Mateo. Tayo po kayo, yung dalawa. Ayan. Okay? So, busy-busy po sila ngayon kasi next month na po yan, February 28, 2025. So, international. Kasi speakers will be international, delegates darating din from abroad.
Attorney, there's a lot of discussions now. We started with 2025 with a lot of activities so far with PCCI-QC, which is also a multi-awarded chapter of the PCCI. What do we expect for 2025?
Actually, for 2025, we will be focusing our efforts in delivering a lot of services to our members. So, because last year, PCCI-QC already grabbed the most outstanding chamber in NCR in the Philippines, and we also became the Hall of Fame awardee as the most outstanding chamber. So we would like to focus on increasing the competency of our members, and of course creating a stronger partnership with the Quezon City government. We support our LGU, and I think that's one of the main reasons why PCCI-QC is very strong, because the support to the businesses given by our organization in Quezon City, our partnership is very strong.
You mentioned that you are going international. As a matter of fact, you made an announcement that there is going to be an event where there's going to be exposure of the Quezon City Chamber to the international business. How relevant is business matching of local Quezon City businesses to the international stage?
Actually, it's really very important. So we are now in the era of globalization, and of course, our products and services, our members, the services and products that they do are not limited here, and the market is open globally. So last year we have participated in several trade missions. We participated in Vietnam, in Japan, and this year we're going to Canada, to the Dubai, and other several countries. And we will be participating in the activities of the Confederation of the Asia Pacific Chamber. And most of our activities will be aligned both in PCCI National and that Confederation of Asia Pacific Chamber.
Attorney, ayoko sanang pag-usapan natin ng politika dahil ang business naman hanggat maaari ayaw ng politika kasi gusto natin tuloy-tuloy lang ang serbisyo. Pero ano po sa palagay ninyo ang magandang maidudulot naman ng eleksyon, lalo na sa taong ito, sa larangan ng pagninegosyo?
Well, syempre, election, it's a democratic exercise. And whatever the results would be and who will be elected will have the effect on what kind of policies will be legislated. And anumang policies na i-adapt ng mga may-elect natin will have a great impact to businesses. So, syempre, we're not endorsing anyone, but definitely we want the right people to be chosen. Kasi ang business environment, hindi lang yan composed ng employees and government. Nandiyan ang business, tatlo yan. So we're looking for candidates, we're looking for politicians na maupo na will promote and will balance yung tatlong entities na yan, the government, the employees, and the businesses, na ma-promote yung best interest ng tatlo.
If ever there are amendments, there are new laws that have to be enacted, what do you think would these amendments be? What are the new laws that should government leaders or lawmakers enact so that there is a protection of businesses and you will continue to thrive post-pandemic?
Actually, syempre gusto namin talaga yung ease of doing business. And in Quezon City, we're very happy na meron kaming mga policies na madali yung mag-conduct ng business in Quezon City. And Quezon City has been the benchmark of all other cities. And we're hoping na hindi lang sa Quezon City mangyari yon, but also in other cities, ma-adapt ko ano yung ginawa ng Quezon City. And it will happen kung gagawin natin na parang national model through a legislation, yung ginagawa ng aming Business Permits Office.
You are now also a media personality. How important is going into this social media platform to promote the development of MSMEs? And gaano ba ito kakaiba? I know so far, what was your experience in using this platform to help businesses promote their advocacies?
Yes. I now have the Idol sa Negosyo. It's aired every Tuesdays from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. sa Facebook and YouTube. And we're very happy kasi nagiging platform siya to promote our members. So through this platform, we promote not only the business, but the story of the entrepreneur. Kasi through that story of the entrepreneur, we inspire aspiring entrepreneurs. We recognize yung pinanggalingan nila, yung worthiness of their work, profession, bago sila naging business owner. And of course, makatulong sa development ng micro, small, and medium enterprises. And magandang platform yon kasi nakikita ang business owner na hindi lang siya for money, na he's doing business also for his employees, for his family, and for the community.
Wow. We look forward to more projects of the PCCI Quezon City under the leadership of the one and only Attorney Arnel Mateo. And with me is Dr. Carl Palita, one of the key personalities of PCCI Quezon City. Dr. Carl, one of the most anticipated segments of the General Assembly and other events is the CEO Talk. Can you give us a gist of the CEO Talk and what are we going to expect in this talk?
Yeah, we wish we could use the TED Talk. It's a TED Talk inspired talk where we will be showcasing our board and some of our members who can actually deliver that kind of talks. Of course, lahat naman may story, pero yung capability to communicate. It's also a platform for our business leaders to have a center stage and the rest learn from their experience. The preparation that I made for them is something that would touch on how to transform from standing up to outstanding. So it's the journey of my life to be an outstanding Filipino. So ano yung framework na ginagamit ko in my life and in my business and in what I do. So yun ang sharing ko at saka yung paper na I present in international conferences, yung social purpose as a differentiator of the future. So yun. The CEO Talk would be a continuing content of PCCI QC, not only in GMMs but in other conferences. So kung magkakaroon kami ng small gathering, we can have a small CEO Talk. Kasi we want to target both the audience so they can learn, and of course the leader, so that the business leader, so that they can reflect, create a presentation, and have the experience of making a presentation.
One of the key observations with TED Talk or other similar talks like that is that it is carefully selected. It's not necessarily a random talk, but as you mentioned, there's a lot of preparations in it because people, CEOs are drawing a lot of inspiration from this. So in the next series of CEO Talk, would there be a specific criteria on your selection of, as you mentioned, you will be pioneering it, but what is your parameter in choosing the series of CEO Talk?
Number one, the capability to really talk. Because others may be so good in doing business or doing what they do, but they cannot communicate. So, importante yung communication. Number two would be yung success that they can share. Not naman that we are looking for ultra successful people, but many of our boards are. Many of our board of directors are really very successful businessmen, and we want to hear from them. And not only that, even our members. So I'll provide for the mentorship. I committed myself to help them. Ang maganda kasi doon is when you prepare for a talk and you're not used to it, it's not your career, it's not your job. You get to sit down, reflect, create frameworks. You become very reflective and introspective. Then it brings into the surface some of the principles that sometimes are current under the water. So you're able to bring it to the consciousness. So nakikinabang din yung presenter. Kasi nagkaroon siya ng chance to think of ano bang framework na ginagamit ko, ano nga bang philosophy ko. So we've given that para silang gumagawa ng librong maliit for a 30-minute talk. And that helps them. And of course, the audience is the best beneficiary, the greater beneficiary, because they get to learn. Meron kami ditong learning together principle. So, yun. And some of the boards have already said yes to this. So I'll be very excited to also mentor them. And because professionally I do this, so I should be able to guide them. And they're excited. Not only to share, but also to push themselves to the limits of their capability to make presentation. Kasi normally, naka-podium ka, slides, babasahin mo slides, we remove the slides. We remove the podium, we put the lapel mic, You take the center stage, then you talk. And no script. No script to read. Ayun. So they're very excited. So it's about time that some of our board and members become public speakers.
Drawing inspiration from the theme, I see keywords there: empowerment, innovation, and sustainability. Bakit po ba ganun kahalaga ngayon yung innovation tsaka sustainability, lalo na sa mga maliliit na negosyo katulad ng mga present ngayon sa PCCIQC?
Because the rule of business is innovate or die. Many will imitate and die. So innovation is what we will teach. In fact, that's going to be my topic later. Sustainability is important because you don't only have to think about your profit. There's more into business than just making profit. How do you really be sustainable? How you become a business that would last? Yung longevity mo. Ano yung formula doon? Ako, ang message ko is ano yung social purpose mo? So I'll get into that. Kasi depende sa decision ng entrepreneur. Ano bang dahilan ko ba't ka nagbe-business? Are you here only for yourself so that your people come and go and leave you? Or are you here to create an empire? Are you here to create a family? Or even a legacy? So these are decisions that entrepreneurs will have to make. And the magic word for it is sustainability. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to continue with what you're doing in a longer period of time? And sustainability is not only environment. It's a lot of factors around it. And of course, we don't miss on the triple bottom line, the profit, the people, and the planet. But there is more in my talk.
Today, we're launching a special part of every GMM and BCCIQC event, and we call it the CEO Talk, and give it up to the Board of Directors of the BCCIQC for doing this. Palakpakan niyo po sila. What do we do so that we can stand up? And I wish that young people, especially your children, your kids, your young CEO should listen to this. The first thing you have to do is seek thyself. The best tool that you own in this world is yourself. You have to seek it. You have to be comfortable with who you are. And this is the first challenge. A lot of us don't like ourselves, but we have to accept ourselves as we are. The second is when we have to try and fail. After we discover what we are and who we are, this is where we should be willing to try and fail. And failure becomes part of every success story. And after that, we have to agilify to learn. I coined the word agilify, although I'm not the first one who used it. But you know, agility is when you're able to change direction heading to the same vision. Agility is when you're able to pivot, move around, bounce back quickly, and this is what you need to do. From every failure that we experience in our lives, we rise up, we agilify, then we learn. And everyone, the end is very important. I want us to nurture your values. Everybody say, nurture your values. Because along the way, there will be a lot of questions in our value system, but what is important to us is something we protect. And when we're down to D, everybody say, decide to change. Change is a decision because growth and development is intentional. We cannot grow and develop by accident. Everything has to be intentional. And everybody please look at the screen as you're eating your food. And I'm the professor giving you direction. Because when you're able to stand up and do the following, you are able to, everybody say, upgrade. This is what others are missing. We have not upgraded ourselves because we have not actually discovered who we really are, or we are trying to be someone we are not. And standing up is best if you're standing on your own feet and if you are true to whoever you are. And look at this. This is what the first slide is all about. And I'd like to challenge everyone, stand up and upgrade. And after you find yourself standing up already, then you become the standard. You go into the standard. The standard will challenge you to search for the norm. Everybody say, search for the norm. In the beginning, you will have to fit in. You will fit in. You will go with the flow. You'll swim with the tide. And that's okay. Why? Because you have to understand how society operates. But after this, there is a challenge for you to thrive, to be different. If you're in business, you have to differentiate. If you're a person, you have to develop your personal brand. You thrive to be different. You cannot just be another lady wearing a Prada. You cannot be another man wearing another Rolex. But you have to thrive to be different. You have to find your differentiation. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, you have to accept rejection. Why? Because not everybody like you. And who's afraid of rejection? Only those who are not ready to be rejected. And after you feel rejected, that even, I will have to challenge you and inform everyone that even your own network will have to be purged because not everybody likes you, and therefore you have to network with your kind. You have to find people who will take you as you are, accept you as you are, and make you celebrate with your individuality and your uniqueness. And after this is where you defy the norm. When I entered the world of business, the world of review, I was just a small table. We were just a small table. In fact, Dr. Aline was there, starting with a small table, and nobody in the system. And I said, I want to search the norm, but I want to be different. I was rejected. I networked with my kind. Who cares for those people who don't like me? Then I defined the norm. And everybody look at the screen. The art there, only this moment that you will find your own reward. Life becomes very rewarding. Business becomes rewarding. Why? Because you will gain your success at this point in time. If you want to grow well, you better ask yourself, do I have a team? Or do I have people? If you have people, even the best summa cum laude, I hire them. The number ones in the board, I hire them. But if they're not working in the team, it's nothing. Then you talk about competency of you and others. It's your learnability. And another one is abundance. Everybody say abundance. Abundance is when you think that there is so much for everyone. And of course, as business people, we would like to look into the revenue. Are you productively earning your profit? And lastly, longevity. Are you bound to stay? The dual narcissist in me is giving you this formula. Yeah? But think about it. Will you be successful if you're not surrounded by competent people? Will you be successful commercially if you don't have the spirit of abundance? If you're not earning, if your business is not long-lasting? But hello, the new value in the commercial success is not what I'm proud of, what I have done. I'm proud of the social value. And it begins here. People, equitability. Hello, everyone, look at me. Equitability is not equality. Equitability is when the strong protects the weak. It's when the intelligent supports the less intelligent. You know, it's when the strong protects the weak. It's not about equality. This is my challenge for all of you. Look at me in the eye. I'd like to tell you, kung hindi nag-i-improve ang life, ang quality of life ng tao mo, bakit sila nasa iyo? And you're talking of sustainability? That your people cannot even dream of a good life for them. And I'd like to challenge everyone. If your interest is really to be sustainable, take care of your people. Your first customer is your people. In fact, customer is always right, is correct, because your customer, the first customer, are your people. Are you having people who are equitable? I'd like to tell you that in my company, even my janitors own a branch of my review center. Kayo, ang hilig-hilig nyo. Hindi niya hanap kayo ng tao. Hanapin nyo lang, Claire. Kailangan pleasing and personality. Hanap ka ng pleasing personality. Ikaw ba hindi? Hiyang-hiya naman ako sa'yo. Hanap ka ng college degree. Ikaw ba college degree holder? Matino ka ba nung nag-college? Anong hinahanap mo? Experience? Ikaw ba nung umpisa may experience ka? Think about it. This is where philosophy meets business. Hello? If you want to capture this moment or put it in a sentence and quote me, just say that Carl Balita Innovation Framework is where philosophy meets business. Existentialism is a philosophy that makes you ask why. Why are you born? Architect Karandang, why are you an architect? That's the point. Josie, why are you in nuts? You see, Boots Bartolome, you may not own a brand, but why are you behind the brands? There must be a reason for it. Hello, when the why is big enough, the how is going to be easy. And that's why the big why of business should be deeper and wider and more meaningful. Because if I can talk to you the whole day just talking about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that the higher your business purpose is in the Maslow's hierarchy, the bigger the opportunities are for them.
Miss Sarah, alam naman natin na napakaraming mga challenges ngayon sa business at nararamdaman natin na ang 2025 maganda ang pagpasok. Ito ba nakikita nyo, napapansin nyo na magtutuloy-tuloy na ang magandang negosyo para sa mga entrepreneurs na katulad ninyo sa taong ito, Miss Sarah?
Maganda ang pasok ng 2025 kasi particularly in my business, may mga bagong clients agad kami for this month ng 2025 January. So nakikita ko dahil yung services namin is manpower or we are a service contractor. So pag ang mga kumpanya na nandito ay nangangailangan ng maraming tao o employment, may mga hiring sila. So ibig sabihin maganda ang negosyo, di ba?
Ngayon, Miss Sarah, speaking of hiring ng tao, alam naman natin na parang ang dami ng mga pagbabago sa hiring, di ba? Marami din na rin hinahanap ang mga tao sa bagong kakayahan at bagong mga skills. Sa inyong experience, being at the forefront of hiring people looking for talent, ano na po ba ang kadalasan na kinukuha ngayon ng mga tao? Ano yung mga skills na nila? Kasi di ba in the advent of digitalization, artificial intelligence, ano na bang hinahanap ngayon ng mga tao na kakayahan or bagong skills ng mga negosyante?
Yes, pero alam mo, may pagbabago na yung dati, 10 years ago, pinag-usapan namin ang future of work. Ngayon, talagang in every year, nag-evolve na, iba na yung world of work. So, nagbago. May maraming challenges ngayon. Number one, yung recruitment namin. Ang hirap makahanap ng nagmamatch talaga. So matagal na tong problema. Nag-i-evolve na talaga siya. So in our case, kasi marami kaming madaling hanapin, production workers, mga ordinary, mga rank and file, mga labor, yung madadali. Pero yung may challenges sa mga kakaibang mga posisyon like mga skilled workers. Ang driver nga, example ko na lang, mahirap na maghanap ng driver. Kasi nagiging na namin yung mga Grab, di ba? Imbis na mag-employed sila, doon sila sa Grab. Iba, nag-aangkas-angkas na. Yes, doon na sila sa mga may apps na diretso na sila naka-registered. So medyo mahirap sa employment, yung papasok sila sa mga opisina, yung kahit ang mga college graduate ngayon, ang kalaban namin yung mga virtual assistants. Yung mga employer nila abroad, no? They work from home, kahit saan sila at their own pace. So yan, malaking bagay din yan na imbis na na-hire namin tong mga employees na to, nandun sila working from home, pero ang employer abroad, mga VA, estimated ngayon nasa more than 3 million na yung mga yan. So nahirap ang sourcing. So nagiging expensive ang recruitment. So pumupunta na kami talaga dati, yung office namin, ang dami nakapila. Ngayon kami ang nagnaknock on their door. Literally, kailangan maghakot kami ng mga applicants para mai-deploy namin sa mga kliyente namin. So that's, marami ng changes.
No, Miss Sarah, speaking of changes pa, di ba parang nabanggit mo na rin, marami na ring virtual assistants. Ngayon ba, napapansin mo kahit sa opisina ninyo, talagang unti-unti ng nagkakaroon ng hybrid doon sa work na parang combination na siya ng work from home, combination ng computer, combination ng physical presence. Ganun na ba ngayon? Kasi kanyari, I'm sure, di ba, nung unang panahon, nung before pandemic, pag malaki ang office mo, mas dapat malaki kung marami kang tao. Pero ngayon, di ba, parang ganun ba? Napapansin mo, nag-iiba na rin?
Yeah, after pandemic, na-realize natin, no? Even me, no? Dati kala ko kailangan ko pumunta sa office, pero pwede na palang work from home. So, nagiging flexible naman ang mga employers, mga clients namin. Kami mismo sa employer, pinapayagan na namin yung hybrid or basta output-based. Depende kasi sa position yon. Kung mga computer lang yan or kailangan nilang i-accomplish like mga IT, hindi naman kailangan pumasok sa office. Sayang din yung kanilang mga pamasahe. So, nagiging flexible din ang mga employers. Nag-a-adjust kasi hindi pwedeng hindi ka mag-adapt into what is happening, what is the changing world of work. So, nag-a-adapt kami at nag-i-innovate. So, ang dami na naming in-implement ng mga productivity improvement, mga digitalization. So, din kami dyan, nakikisabay.
Ano ang hinahanap na ngayon ng mga negosyante o kumpanya sa industriya katulad ninyo at bakit yung mga established na companies like yours ang dapat makuha nila? Kasi marami ding agencies na katulad ninyo. But ano ba ang dapat nilang ma-check, hanapin na parang matiyak nila na hindi illegal recruiter yung hinahanap nila?
Well, introduce ko na rin yung PulseCon. May association kaming mga service contractor na Philippine Association of Legitimate Service Contractor. Kami yung nagpupulis among our ranks, no? And nagpo-promote kami ng ethical and responsible service contracting. Of course, yung sa mga employer, no, bibigyan ko ng tip, pag naghanap sila ng service provider, dapat registered sila ng DO 174. And of course, marami pang mga credentials na dapat nilang i-due diligence nila yung service contractor na compliant with all the applicable laws and regulation. Like naghuhulog sila ng mga mandated benefits, hindi nila dinadaya yung mga tao nila, walang mga charges sa mga applicants, and of course yung track record. For us, SPD Jobs, we've been in the business for 28 years. ISO certified na kami. At talagang pinapangalagaan namin yung aming reputation in the industry. So, we love our employees, and of course, we provide what we promise to our clients. Talagang magandang serbisyo, quality service talagang binibigay namin. Very importante yung track record mo. At saka kasi itong service contractor, dapat may substantial capital ka. Hindi ka kasi pag hindi ka babayaran na, kailangan bayaran mo muna yung... yes, of course. Marami kasing mga fly-by-night, yun ang nakakasira sa industry namin. Yung hindi nila binibigay yung anong dapat sa mga employee. Kami talagang mga legitimate, kaya nga tinawag namin ang PALS ko na legitimate service contractor. And para naman sa mga principal, maraming advantages bakit kailangan nila kami, partner nila kami sa kanilang negosyo. Kasi they can focus on their core competencies. Basta sinasabi ko, do what you do best and outsource the rest to us and we can handle it. Kami na ang di ba kung ikaw may kumpanya, meron kang nag-aasikaso na sa HR, masyadong magulo at mahirap, lalo ng sourcing, recruitment, managing employees. Kami yon, hindi kami yung service contractor kasi, hindi supply. We are we provide end-to-end business solutions na from recruitment to separation. So kami talaga ang employer. In-outsource nila sa amin yung mga trabaho na end-to-end. Kami ang may control and supervision with the employees.
So sabi mo nga, makapag-focus sila sa core competence nila. So yung ibang pwede naman ipaubaya na sa yung mga paperwork and a lot of documentation sa inyo na. And we hope that Miss Sarah will guest at the studio at a later time so that she can explain more about the challenges and the pain points of MSMEs in the field of talent acquisition, recruitment, training, and other things. Pero balita ko, Miss Sarah, mayroon kang ibabalita at ipopromote. Ano po ba ito?
Yes, meron ho ako ibabalita, and the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Quezon City, we have an upcoming Quezon City International Business Conference. We invited high-caliber speakers from Philippines and abroad. Kasi kaya nga tinawag namin international, ang gagaling ng mga speakers. And of course, ang mga topics, napaka-relevant sa present situation ngayon. And we're inviting you, if you're a member of PCCI-QC, free registration. If you're a non-member, please contact our secretariat, the PCCIQuezonCity.com. Visit the website, doon nyo po malalaman ang mga information. Please join us. This will be on February 28, 2025, 9 to 5 p.m. at the Quezon City MICE Center. Ang dami po nyong matututunan dito and experience and network with other entrepreneurs and business owners. Thank you po and see you there.
That's Miss Sarah De Loraya Mateo, Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.